Very good morning to you. Thank you for being a part of Family and Values this morning. My name is Joy Abu. Today is Monday, the 24th day in the month of June 2024. Yes, June is almost rounding up. In fact, this week is rounding up June, so we've done 6 months already. What have you been doing with your past 6 months? It's time to go back to your drawing board. If you feel you've not met that opportunity or missed it, go back, re-strategize. Okay, today the roads were a bit busy because, of course, work has resumed. Traffic always as usual. Thank you for being a part of Family and Values this morning. We are streaming across all our social media platforms. Please download the Galaxy mobile app so that you can watch us on the go. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll keep begging and begging again. Turn on your Facebook and X notifications so that you know when we are on your screens. Like I said, when you see these beautiful faces, you know it's time for Family and Values. So today I'm excited. The whole of last week, I was my mood was just there because when you have your better partner, she's not there to give you that hype. So just be like, okay. So for those of you that are asking, she's fine, she's healthy, she's strong, and she is in the studio with me. So join me. Let me take that again. Celebrate with me as I welcome. Let me adjust our own Gen Z Mama. Olori is in the building. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank God for health.
The thing about life is it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you keep on moving. Don't stop. Yeah, it may be like the world is coming to an end, and how am I going to survive it? How will I be able to catch up? Is it going to be easy? Wow, so many have passed. 48 hours, 78 hours. Oh no. Just keep on moving. You'll meet up. And by the time you get there, you have your own aura, your own, celebration. Because celebration never stops.
See how I'm blushing just watching you speak and doing what you love to do. Unlike last week, I'll be like, hey, is this my own person? But it's so good to have you. I understand. But
God made it.
We thank God for good health. Thank God you're here. Yeah.
Thank God for life. Thank God I can see you. I can see Mr. Adewale. I could see. When I came in this morning, I saw the three. Don't let me say the three musketeers. But I already said it. Okay, so I'm so glad I met my three bosses: the SM, the HOP, and the head of market. Call, check up on me. Sorry I couldn't pick calls. I just needed the rest. But thank God I'm here. My name's Remain Olori Adejoke Adobi David, and we have to do what we are told. And
yes.
By the grace of God, we'll all be fine.
Of course, we'll definitely be fine. Okay, on that note, we'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Played this morning, but let's start our conversation. We will be discussing teenage rebellion and how to survive these times. Yes, teenage rebellion and how to survive this time. When you have teenagers around you and you understand and agree with me that this period we are in, teenagers are the ones taking over. They are the ones having the conversation on social media, they are the ones in school. So it's important we talk about their rebellion. I've heard a lot of parents say, my child is too stubborn, my this. I have a pre-teenager, pre-adolescent into teenager. So I'm beginning to see those traits, and in my mind I'm like, let me put on my glasses to start copying. But then we have an author and a parenting coach. He is perfect for this conversation because he has been in this field for a very long time, and he's going to give us an insight into what we need to do and how to survive these times with teenage rebellion. Okay, we have Remy Lawa calling in all the way from Ibadan. He's joining us live from Ibadan. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Remy. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Olori. So nice to be with you ladies again.
It's good to see you this morning.
How is madam?
Everyone is fine, thank you. And welcome back, Olori.
Okay, yes. When I sent the topic to you, I am sure you know that definitely this is your field, this is what you're doing. But let me ask, how do we deal with teenage rebellion? Let's start with it. How do we deal with teenage rebellion? How do we handle their rebellious attitude? Let's take it from there.
Okay, because of who I am, I choose a different topic. My first question will be, are teenagers truly rebellious?
Ha! I trust you. Shebi is you. I trust you.
Because what I find with this thing is labeling. And that's our nature as human. We label what we don't understand. So rather than seek understanding, we mystify it. So everything that teenagers are going through at the moment that we are labeling as rebellion is our own struggle to understand who they are. And I'm going to start from here to say to you that first and foremost, teenagers are not rebellious. Teenagers are just acting out your labeling. So we'll get to understand that as we go further, because I know that they are not rebellious. Now the question is, if you have ever had interaction with somebody who is apologies please, apologies, somebody who is deaf, and if somebody who is deaf, if you ever had a conversation with them, so it gets to a point when they can't hear you, they get frustrated. So if you have ever had interaction with somebody who is equally dumb, once again, apologies. I just had to make those, references. No harm meant. So my sincere apologies. So if you have had conversation with somebody who is equally dumb, if they talk to you over time and they realize you don't understand them, they get frustrated. So that frustration made us to label people who are deaf and dumb. We call them very heady, that they are stubborn, that they can break your head. So they are picking up stone to break your head is an explanation of their struggle with you not understanding them. They think you should understand them, and you think they should understand that you don't understand them. So how can I understand that you don't understand me? You're not understanding me. How is it my problem? So first and foremost, teenagers are not rebellious. Yes, they have struggles, and both of us have our own fair shares in the struggle. So we'll get to understand it as we go on.
Okay, so if we are taking rebellious out of the way, according to you, it's just a way of tagging them or labeling them. It's a way to just try to make them feel like you want to put something attached to them and just believe that this child is stubborn. You understand? How do we now navigate this attitude, this behavioral, these ways around them that we as parents don't really understand? How do we understand it? And how do we now navigate our way to be able to walk into that process with them so that we'll not be tagging them what they are not, just like you said?
All right, let me say this. There is a stage in growth that we call individuating. When children individuate, and what does that mean? When children begin to explore their differences, their peculiarity, They are seeing somebody who is supposed to look like them, acting different from them. So they are trying to understand, why am I different? Why do I have something here and this other person does not have it? Why do I talk the way I talk? Why does my voice sound the way it sounds and this other person's voice is not sounding that way? And yet parents don't have that understanding. You're not there to explain that to them. So they are seeking for answers. In between those answers, you are pushing all of your expectations on them. These are people who are having mental and hormonal changes. They are having structural adjustments, and they still can't understand all of those things. You will just realize that when parents jump into the growth of children is when it has to do with sex and then troubles. Every other thing, we leave them to figure them out by themselves. So these bodily structures, they don't understand it. Their hormonal changes, everything that comes with their growth, they don't understand it. So here we say these children are having issue with identity, getting to know who they really are. Now let me say this. Do you know that till today, none of us know where they fall? Are they children or adults? Children reject them because they don't look like them. Adults don't accept them because they don't think they measure up. So that has put them under intense pressure. They have a problem of trying to prove to the children that we are not part of you. And then they are struggling to make the adults accept them, that we are like you. That's why you see them, when they want to do things like adults, they do it in excess. Because they have that point to prove that we are like you. I'm sorry today say this. I want to believe that children are in school, they are not listening. That's why you see a teenager can engage in sex for up to 8 hours. Most adults, no adults can try that. Not because they enjoy it, but they are out there to prove a point, to show to you that, look, I've also grown. A teenager will go into drugs, will take more than her brain, her head can carry, or just to prove a point that, look, I belong to your class. So a teenager will go into alcohol, take more than he or she can take, just to prove a point that, look, I belong to your class. And as we speak, we call those children toddlers, we call some children, then we go to adults, we say they are adults. Then those who are grown, we begin to call them teenagers. Are the ones we don't have classifications for. We still see them as teenagers. And today we are still struggling. Look at now, we've introduced another class, pre-teens. So who is a teenager? Some of us are saying between 16, some say between 13 to 19 and all of that. And that's where you have these challenges we're talking about. So if you can help them, that period when they are individuating, that period when they are struggling with self-identity, that's when they are looking for acceptance. They are seeking attention. And we are not giving them we are not giving them that required attention. We are eager to control them. This is where the rebellion comes in. We are seeking control. So you label a child stubborn and rebellious because the child is not giving into your control. At what point do you think a child should own their own decisions and their choices? And that's exactly what we have done in this era. It's happening. We can't allow children to go out there and own their mistakes and their successes. We want to micromanage everything. You would weep with me if you go to where children are sitting for common entrance. You see parents come there. You ask, what do you want? They are paying teachers to help their children write common entrance. It's worse with JAMB. So at what point are you going to allow them to own their successes while they are growing up? While they were growing up, we've shown them that we can't trust them to take steps or take initiatives all by themselves. So they have come to live in that space, but they are struggling between their independence and your control. So your command and control is what is getting in between. Now I ask, if you remove your command and your control, would you still say that a teenager is? Now, nobody is saying allow the teenager to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro and jump from there. That's why you are there as a tour guide, not as the one who is carrying them on your shoulder, going to dump them where you want them to be. Children must live the life they want to live, not to live out the life you missed living. And which is what most of us parents are doing. Because I missed being a medical doctor, I want my child to become a medical doctor so that I can fulfill my own destiny in my child. No child is here to fulfill the destiny of a parent. Every child is here to fulfill their own destiny. In all honesty, you may not, and in most cases, parents will never be at home with who their children will choose to be. Imagine if I'm a pastor, my desire would be to see my child, come back to my altar and carry on. But that's not who my child has been created to be. I should allow my child to individuate. I should allow my child to explore his own peculiarity and accept it. Then run with it. My job is to help that child become who he or she has been created to become. So when children don't live out your script, then you label them as stubborn. So when they see that stubbornness, they want to pay you back. So let me just stop here.
Okay. Now you've said a whole lot, but let me take it from the behavioral aspect. Do you think that parenting has played a very big role in this? Because sometimes, you just said something that parents always want the kids to play out their own scripts, and then you as a parent, you're having this fear of, I don't want this child to make mistakes the same way I have made. So it's more like being overprotective of what you have, really not wanting them. I'll give you a very typical example. It's like a mother who wants the child to wash plates, but yet you don't want the child to spill water on the floor. So you look at it like, you know what, don't worry, let me do the dishes myself because I'm more careful. Now, if that child does not spill that water, how would that child know that when you're washing dishes, you have to be very careful? So do you think that parenting has also played a very an important role in all of this, resulting whether they become stubborn or they turn out to be good? What is the role of parenting in all of this?
All right. Thank you so much, Joy. You just alluded to the exact same thing I said in a very long speech. From the get-go, when you give birth to your children, I've mentioned on this program countless times that there are 3 key things that children are looking for. First is attention, acceptance, and affection. And these 3 are the things we trade when we go out there to work and labor for money. So children want your attention, you're telling them go and meet the nanny. Children want your affection, you're telling them, you see, I'm tired. Children want you to be there for them, to accept them. You're telling them, see, you can see that I have to run off now. And then they are no longer safe to come to you to ask for questions. Thomas Edison been accused of failing a certain number of times. We are not very sure. Some said 99 times, some said 999 times. But one thing that is significant to me that he said is, I did not fail those number of times. I only found the number of times that what I want to achieve cannot be achieved. So he didn't see it as failure. If you don't allow children to own their failings and their successes, you will never allow them to own their own identity. Children cannot continue to live in your shadow. Now, if you don't open up to them and tell them your story, one of the things we do is to tell our children our own skewed stories because we don't want them to fail. If you don't want your children to fail, be honest and sincere in your stories. See, I failed. This was why I failed. I told my son a story about my life and he was looking at me. I'm sure he wouldn't have believed it because I presented myself like a macho man, a hero that can never fail. So every time I carry the pillar of the world, I put it on my shoulder and I climb the mountain and go drop it without breaking a sweat. That's how he has seen me. But I had to come down to earth to tell him, look, boy, there were times I cried. I have failed in an exam. I have failed in certain businesses. I have failed at doing certain things. He was looking at me. You mean you failed? Yes, I failed. I failed. There was a time I came almost last in my class. So it doesn't change anything. Let's stop building stories that will make us look like heroes in the face of our children, and then stop telling them that failure is final. Failure is not final. In fact, no success without failure. So when you expect your children to be perfect when you are not, you lead them to rebellion. As a parent, stop expecting your children to grow in one day. You told your child, don't do this. Your child heard. Your child will still do that thing. Not because your child is rebellious. You will never do a thing your child is not in. You want your...
Hello, are you still with us?
Hello, can you
Remy?
still hear us? Okay, let's go now. Word of marble. Okay, we can hear you. Go on.
Of the child is just 2 liters, and you want the child to lift a bucket of 10 liters. So each time the child lifts that bucket, you will lose one or two things. You will lose either the bucket or the water, or both at the same time. Then you go spank the child for not doing what he or she is not able to do at the time. I want to tell both of you here now. Let me ask, do you know any child around you while growing up that they labeled bad, that is still bad in adulthood, that is 40, 45 right now? I can bet you that out of 10, only 1 will remain that way. So every child you labeled that was not listening to you was hearing everything you said. But until push comes to shove, and in psychology we call it point of resistance, whatever a child is doing, when he or she builds capacity and the need for what you told them when they were growing up comes to need, they will call it out from where it is stored. Everything you're telling your children today, they heard you. So when it is needed, they will pull it out. But stop making it look like you're pushing command, you're pushing control on them. Let me say this. If you read the Bible, every single one of us was created to dominate. Every single one of us was created to replenish. Every of those commands goes to everybody. So you look at the physical age of a human being, you forget that God was interacting with the spirit. No man was created for dominion. So you cannot dominate any man by telling them go here and expect them to go there. Give me good reason why I should go there. So what parents are not doing is they are not telling their children why those instructions are necessary. They are speaking from their high horses as an authority. You must listen to me. I am your child. Can I say this? God gods over everything, but he does not god over your choices and your decisions. Why do you want to god over the choices and the decisions of your children while they are growing? Give them reasons. If you need to change those decisions, hear me well, let me balance it. I'm not saying that 100 times out of 100 your children's choices and decisions will be right. They are exploring, like I said, they are individuating. So when they are doing those things, look at it from a good perspective. Ask questions. Why do you want to do this? Seek to understand before being understood. Don't speak from your frustrated point. A lot of the times when we scold our children, we are scolding and projecting our frustrations, not really raising them. I've been frustrated at work, traffic has dealt with me, and when I come home, I'll project those things on my children in the name of training. So like Stephen Covey said, seek to understand before being understood. So when you understand why they want to do it, you can have a conversation with them. Even God says, come, let us reason together. When you call your children to a reasoning table, you let them speak their mind without judging them. Don't say, don't you know you're a child? Don't you know you're... No, don't start from there. Have human conversation with your children. Sit them down. Okay, you see this thing you want to do? If you do it, it might end like this. Have you thought of it? So if you do it this way, do you think there are other ways you can do it? When the child shows confusion that I can no longer go further, you now ask, can I say something? Children want to be respected, just like you're demanding respect from them. They also want to be respected at their level. I say it again. It doesn't take anything away that you are their parents. That is sacrosanct. It can never change. But please respect them. Like they say, respect is reciprocal. Stop demanding for it. Earn it. Stop demanding for it. Earn it. Stop demanding for it. Earn it.
Earn it.
Okay, let's
Thank
go
you
on
so
our
much.
word of
I
mouth.
love that.
And you know, anytime we have you on set, we are always carried away because of the wealth
worry.
of knowledge that comes in from you. But
Remy,
let's
stay
go on
back.
our word
We are
of mouth.
coming
We'll be
back.
right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Family and Values on Galaxy Television, and we have been discussing, for the sake of the topic, I'll use teenage rebellion and how to survive those times, because I guess it's saying we shouldn't say they are rebellion. It's not a rebellion.
It's just a way of, you know, individuality, their own way of expressing themselves, yes. That you are not giving them the room. And when he finished the before we went on that word on Bible, he said we should respect them. Respect is reciprocal. It is not demanded for. It is earned. I believe in that.
Okay, so I guess Remy Lawa has been joining us via Zoom, and he's still live all the way from Ibadan. So, Lori, question.
Okay, RL, are you still there? Okay. Sometimes I call you pastor. Sometimes I call you.
I almost called you. I almost introduced him as pastor this morning.
But no, just leave him as RL like that.
And the parenting coach.
Don't put any pastor. See, it is not by the title. It is by the word that proceed out of your mouth and your attitude. I don't believe in it. That's just it. I'm a believer of the word, but it's not until that title is put there. People will respect you whether it's there or not by your actions, by your attitude, by your words. And that's what the apostles went on doing. Now, RL, I want to say this. I love the fact that you said respect is earned. It is not, you know, demanded for. You don't need to start requesting. You did not respect me. I'm your mother. My children, you know, they were just discussing. And I think something happened. And they're like, see, when a parent find out, or the moment a parent starts saying, I am your father, can't you respect me? Then there's something. It means that father has not been fathering that child well. I was in the room and I was listening. And it means it's threatened. It's fatherhood. It's manhood. is responsibility, whether it's a father or a mother, is saying that it's like you are reminding that child. Do you need to remind your child before your child knows that you are the parent? That thing stands like this for my chest. Now, this is where I'm going. I'm a believer of those who want to share, express. I want my children to be my friend, to be close to me, and all that. Now, for those children who they have been tagged as stubborn, rebellious, destructive, no do good, or all this vulgar language on their children. How do we bring them back? How do we make amends? How will they make those amends so that they can get back into the same, the same level with their children, to really understand all what you have said? Because one thing is for us to say it, another thing is for them to know how they will be able to face that child and say, Okomi, in those days when our parents, after they have scolded, they say you use one hand to you use the other hand to draw the child close, and you now say, Okomi, you are the one that made me to do this to you. I didn't mean to. I love you. I will never have done this, but I'm sorry. How do we now make this parents to have the same, because those days is different from now. It's not all the time parents do that. So am I lying? Am I lying?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Because in those days, they will call you back. They will cuddle you. They will tell you why they have to do it. Just like you said, traffic, office work, so many responsibility and all that. But they will call you. But these days, they will even use what do you call it now? Carry face, bone face, and tell you yes. Why you did not listen to me? I was talking to you. I did not listen. How do we help such parents who are so difficult, you understand, to break those shells?
Yes, I do.
That is making you understand what I mean? Please, how do we help them?
Definitely. All right. Let me bring this perspective to the discourse. Trauma reviews itself in 4 different ways. We have the freeze, the flight, the fright, and the fight. Are you aware that those children who have adopted to, or who review their own trauma imprints by fighting, are the only ones we label? You see that one you think is quiet. When Yoruba say tababomi silenu, if you put water in this child's mouth, you will go to London and come back, and the water will still be there.
The water is still there.
I'm telling you today that it's not right. That child is harboring a lot, and the day that thing will blow up, you will discover that you are in a worse place than with that one that is expressing him or herself. Do you remember the parable Jesus gave, that a father has 2 children? Called the first one and said, go and do this thing for me, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And the father turned to the second one, please go and do this thing for me, and he said, I will do it. The one that said I will do it ended up not doing it. The one that said I will not do went on to do it. The father would have labeled them and walked away. So when you think that your children are quiet, they don't talk, they have become recluse, they keep to themselves, and you think they are not rebellious, in your words, they play. Now, to help them, the things I tell parents to do is fix your relationship with them. Now, I have a client in the UK. I can bet you they are not watching this. Even if they are not the only clients I have there. Now, this boy had gone to the point of, doing all manner of things. Who read books that even adults should be scared of reading. Who do all manner of things I can't be mentioning right now, so that if they are watching, they won't, get to know they are the ones I'm mentioning. And when I saw all of these things, I just told the mother, I said, this is a relationship problem. This boy wants your attention, and the only way this boy gets your attention is when it is time to scold this boy. I said, can you pretend like he's not doing all of these things and fix your relationship with this child? Stop talking about those things. When you hammer on those things, that's when he thinks he gets your attention. Stop talking about those things. First and foremost, you missed out on the window to ask him why he loves such books. You have a child who has a large thinking heart, a large heart that can think deeper than his age. But instead of looking at that, you allowed your religion to cloud you. So rather than ask the child, why do you want to read books like this? What do you love about books like this? You could have channeled that energy into some other better books that are equally higher than his age.
No.
But you went, these books are not good. You shouldn't be reading this book. Now, let me say this again. This is equally technical. These are not topics you can finish in one show, even if we have 5 hours. You see, the mind of a man does 2 things. The mind is validation and meaning seeking. I say it again. The mind of a man is validation and meaning seeking. If you call me a madman, I would want to reason it out. What makes me mad? Guess what? My next action will prove that I am mad. Because the moment you say I am a man, to prove that I am mad, I should be calm to tell you I'm not mad. But anger will well up in me. Are you okay? Are you stupid? Are you this? Are you that? Why would you call me? And so tell me, what should a madman do that I have not done? My mind is seeking meaning and seeking validation. So everything my mind does when you call me a name or a label will act out the same thing that you have called me. So rather than fix the relationship with your child, do something that your child would not be expecting. So every child is fixated already. Don't worry, once my mommy comes in now, she's going to shout. So you would disappoint that child when you come in and you don't shout. The child will be like, mommy, Lenny, what's wrong with my dad today? Why is he not shouting? Why is she not shouting? You have seen things that should make you shout, but you chose not to. You act otherwise. So now you're putting them in a suspicious mode. This woman that is quiet, she has something up her sleeve, and I'm not sure I can take what is coming. So let me maintain my lane. Let me behave myself. Let me comport myself. Now look, there's a child I worked with. So this child would always go out at night, coming late in the morning, and the next thing the mother would be like, you won't go to church. We'll tell you to come to church. You will not come to church. You will not pray. You will not be with us to prayer. And I told you, man, you will not like what I'm going to tell you to do. But if you do it, you will find changes. I said, anytime this boy comes home early in the morning, walk up to the child and ask him, you must be tired. Or say to him, you must be tired. It has been a long night. Do you want to take your bath? I suggest you take your bath. If you hit the bed now, you won't be able to have good sleep. Take your bath. It will help you have a good sleep. And then when you wake up, I have prepared food. And I told her one of 2 things will happen. He would either stay awake and he will not eat your food. And those 2 things happened. He became suspicious of his mother. The woman that will shout down the roof because I went out late and I came in early is asking me to take my bath. She has added poison in the water. She's also telling me to sleep. She wants me to go from sleep to death so that I can stop putting her to shame. And she told me she has added poison to. So from that day, the boy became suspicious of the mother, would not go out again. And I told her, don't ever ask this boy to come to church. When you're going to church, tell him to stay at home, that you have prepared food he should eat. And I'm sure in the boy's mind, he'll be thinking, so you planted bomb in this house and asked me to come to church so that I can die in the house. Before she knew it, turning back, the boy was in church. He didn't come to church to serve God, but he was coming to church to run for his life. And before he knew it, while in church, he found something that excited him. And that kept him in church without anybody saying, come to church. Now, you call them rebellious. What you call them is what you call out of them. So in order to act out rebellion, everything you ask them to do, they will do the contrary.
They will do the contrary.
What you
Fix
call them
your
is what you call
relationship
out
with
of
your
them.
children today. Fix your relationship with your children. It won't cost you anything. Can I say this? It's a note of warning. Look, whatever your children do has not labeled you a bad parent. Forget it. You don't know what that person who is calling you a bad parent is doing. Every time what we do is to project our failings. You see, when I see you and say you're a bad parent, my children are not doing better. But I don't want you to know. So people use you to cover their own shame. And you buy their game. Don't buy into their game. The fact that your children are doing whatever they are doing today does not make you a bad parent. Can you show me a parent that sat it or a child down to say, yeah, go and steal. I'm not sure you will have 2 out of 1,000,000 if it ever happens. Do you get what I'm saying? So no sane parent sat down to tell their children, go and kill somebody. No sane parent sat down and told their children, go and smoke. You told your children not to smoke. They chose to smoke. They saw third-party imprint. Somebody has been speaking to them. This day you speak the correct language to them, they will hear you louder than they have been hearing that person. The smoking will cease. But if you keep hammering that smoking, that will be the thing their subconscious will be thinking all the time. So anything you want your children to stop, don't repeat it all the time. Because your mind, no human mind, has the ability to deal with all your sentences. It will pick the core things there, the action words. So when you want to stop smoking, don't say to yourself, I will stop smoking. Say, I start drinking water from today. I drink water from today. I enjoy my peace. So don't mention smoke.
Remy, I'm taking something this morning. And you have always said this. It's like a ringtone in my ears anytime you say it. And I want to believe many of our parents out there who have been viewers, fans and lovers of Family and Value would have been listening to this.
Yes.
What you call them is what you call out of them. If that is the only thing you can take this morning, if that is the only thing, I believe our case is settled with our children. They are not stubborn. They are not do good.
They are not rebellious.
They are not rebellious. Just call them the words that will make them look back and say, eh, did mommy just say that? Did daddy just say that? And they will come back to your loving arms. Just make sure it is wide open. And they will be there.
If you would permit me to end on this, I'm sure there's somebody currently that all of us know. So I am proud to talk about him. Now, Pastor Bimbo Dukoya of blessed memory, she would tell everybody that cares to listen that, you see, this my children, they will be pastors. And both of them never believed it. Especially Jimmy. Jimmy would always laugh at his mom because he's always loved his music and his art.
And look at him now.
And their parents never got in their ways. Their parents never got in their way. His sister is heading a company. I don't want to mention their name. She's a senior manager in that company, earning in millions. But today she's back on the altar. The words her mom said, Jimmy has left where he was. He never planned for it. But circumstances has brought him back. Now there is no space to go back to what he thought he lost. He is doing exceptionally well where he is right now. Please leave your command and control aside. Just speak what you want and keep telling them who they are. What you call them, you will call out of them. Good morning.
You call them, you call out of them.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pray God will always be there to sort you out and perfect all that concerns you.
I'm blessed. Honestly, I've seen it from a different dimension. And I know our viewers and parents out there have really gotten enough. I know your viewers, your own fans will know that, yes, today was another one. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Very strong and loaded. So viewers out there, you've heard it, you've heard him, and I'm sure you must have taken not one thing, many this morning. And on that note, we just want you to go back, share this message, spread it to all parents around you, in your church, in your mosque, everywhere you go. Let it be another value we need to add to our parenting tactics. With our children. It's not all about the action, all about the force. It's all about the love. On that note, my name is Rimeno Lori. I hope by the grace of the Almighty God, like I will say, hope to see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Okay, thank you very much for being a part of Family and Value this morning. I have learned a lot. You know, sometimes time is never our friend, but then the little one we have taken and the ones Olori has emphasized on is something you should go back. Please share this video. Don't listen alone. Share it with family, share it on platforms. Let people understand and know what is happening. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be discussing love, responsibility, religious fears, and character traits. Trust me, you don't want to miss that topic. It's kind of covered all in one, you know. But our guest to be here tomorrow to do justice to that topic. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day ahead. Stay blessed.